battleground, so we'll take them to something small. They dominate Tomb of the Spider Queen or any battleground. They are so strong.
Well, let's go and take a look at what map we're going to be on next, because obviously, like, if craziness is to come out, we need to know where we're going to be playing. It's going to be Battlefield of Eternity.
Okay. Again, a map that they haven't played yet in the previous best of 5. So again, new territory, new memories to be forged here for Team Expert versus Fnatic.
But considering what Gilly just said, Grubby, do you kind of tip your hat to that kind of idea? It's getting to the point now where we can sit here and we can look at Fnatic, so can Expert, and then all of us can say, you're not going to beat them.
Yeah.
You're just not going to beat them if you don't go crazy.
I mean, it's very easy to theory craft a defense for Fnatic against anything that Expert might want to do. It's like settling a high school argument that says, you choose your champion to fight, you choose your, like, I promise you karate doesn't work against my boxing world champion. Like, it's not fair, you know? you have your global strategy idea, you can go for team fight, and we can say, like, it's not going to work against Fnatic because blah, blah, blah. They'll always prove us right. Like, we can say, oh, Fnatic has the counters, but they're out executing, and that's why it ends up being right.
And you know, it's rare we actually get an opportunity in a tournament to see this level of ridiculousness on the side of it. I mean, normally when we would come to these grand finals, we would talk about a team such as Fnatic. I think we would say, yeah, so this is the theory crafting of how you need to try and beat them and stuff like that. Very rarely do we get to the point of it's almost impossible, and there needs to be insanity on the side of Expert to try and find a way through, muddle a way through.
Yeah, the last time that I can remember a team going undefeated, I'm pretty sure, was the Spring Global Championship last year, MVP Black.
Right.
What happened with Edward Gaming? We got the Turtle Intel 20 blunt force gun orbital BFG explosion.
That's so cool.
It was really cool. Unfortunately, it lost, but it was cool.
That's what matters, though, right? As long as you're cool in defeat,
you
that's
go out
fine.
in style.
All right, let's get into it. Draft number 3 here, or for game number 3, of course, Battlefield of Eternity. Fnatic leads 2-0 at the moment against Team Expert.
And I know Team Expert has some strategies that they've ran with a thorough on this battleground in the past that can be effective, that have delay tactics incorporated into it. We've seen Probius in the past from them with a photon cannon build. Granted, he's been nerfed since that time, but still pretty strong. We've seen Chromie with the full W build, the idea of just shelling away on the Immortal, but you're defending it with a couple of frontliners constantly. Cool. There are some things that can happen from Team Expert, and we also saw Medivh against Team Liquid, so they do have options here. And
with a different team, Athero Angel even utilized Samuro before on Battlefield of Eternity. He plays that hero pretty well as well, and it's one of the best damage dealers on the Immortal. And not just that, but he can get away anytime he wants to. If played well, he's utterly safe.
You say that, but Fnatic has also utilized it on this map as well.
Yeah,
true. I just think it would give some pep in the step of Team Expert, just to have a little bit of variety against Fnatic. They're obviously trying to match them in terms of what is considered standard, what is meta, and they've played it well throughout the entire tournament. But sometimes you just gotta throw it all out there and see if it sticks.
I sort of, actually, now that you brought up the Samuro, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out in this game. I honestly wouldn't. Like, if you think about Europe versus Europe and how it is right now, there is always the potential.
Do you guys believe that Fnatic is a team that if they got up, if they won this game, maybe not this game, but the next draft, would they pull what I like to think of as an MVP Black and just draft a Gazlo, draft something? MVP Black would do this. They would roll swap strangely. They just have fun with it.
I don't think so. I think Quacknix is too serious. I think they don't troll around like that. You're right. I have seen that from MVP Black.
Yes.
I mean, they troll around a lot. L5 never did. L5 and Ballistics. And I don't think Fnatic does either.
Yeah, there's that air of... I mean, I've spoken to Shrimpy on many occasions. He's like, I want to play this hero, but Quacknix won't let me. And it's, okay, you know, that's how it goes down.
What a stern general, Quacknix.
It's all business, all business.
I could have maybe seen it on old Fnatic, but this one is current, well, not old, but a few months ago. New Fnatic right now, their new mentality is they just want to get to BlizzCon with the most perfect record possible. That's all they want to do. They want to win. They want to play what they think is the most efficient tactical available on any map.
Didn't Wubby say something to the effect of, we play not to lose?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so a lot of these experimental strategies have not even been allowed to come out as a cat out of the bag. Even in practice, experimentation has been less. Certainly, we will have more of that as Fnatic tries to create even new emerging metas going into BlizzCon. But for now, Fnatic uses what they know, what they play well. And if your defense is that good, who can blame them? Expert now going into Lunara. Hope generation for Ariel and a second support Brightwing already.
This is very similar to what we saw from them against Team Liquid. Instead, though, we have the Ariel earlier with the Lunara into the Brightwing, hoping to delay around but also get into globals. We are missing the Dahaka that we had from them initially, but still, they do have the global here.
I mean, Tim, you mentioned that Elazul had given ADRD a banana at the desk and then mentioned the Monkey Brightwing coming out for them. So your predictions were right on point. Well done.
Sometimes I have moments, man, of just pure clarity with analysis.
Pure analysis.
Actually,
yeah, you based that one off of. Well done.
Sometimes it just comes through.
Words aren't enough. You just got to come with that symbol there.
Visual aids is what I like to see it as.
It can be very powerful memory joggers. Fnatic looking at ETC. ETC was crucial for Expert to get the comeback against Team Liquid on Battlefield of Eternity before. They used it then with Brightwing and Medivh. They didn't have access to Ariel themselves. I don't think it would be ETC Medivh, right? Triple support. But ETC definitely very strong. Bad Benny always finding those angles when it's most needed.
Yeah, you gotta respect Bad Benny. I think it was Fnatic when we were at the mid-season brawl who talked about their when they were scrimming and preparing for the mid-season brawl, and even then having a lot of scrim sessions with Expert and learning a lot from them. And that was specifically Bad Benny and the locations where he will end up ganking them from. He is on such a high level and where he will try to hide and be able to catch people, and it's worked to Expert's advantage time and time again.
Can we ban Anubarak for the Cho'Gall Dream?
I mean, I think they are forced to ban Anubarak. Fnatic, in my opinion, bans the second best choice. So they're forcing Expert to ban the best choice. There's no way that Fnatic is like, we'll ban ATC and we'll take other stuff and allow you to get a Nubarak.
Yeah.
Not a world where that happens. So Expert needs to decide, are we okay with giving a Nubarak away?
Last time they banned Malthael.
The answer is yes. They are okay with that.
Could it be Cho'Gall? Actually?
For Fnatic?
With that percentage damage just being removed?
Expert.
For Expert.
You gotta have Ariel with her, or with them.
Yeah. For Expert, it looks very good actually to go
Yeah.
Cho'Gall. Malthael does percentage damage on both an Immortal. It's somewhat reduced, but it's still good. And on Cho'Gall.
He does do percentage damage, but having played Malthael into a Cho'Gall a couple of times, it's not very fast. You can heal it up quite fine because of the constant hope generation for Ariel. So in that case, I would prefer banning something like more of a Tychus or something.
Yeah.
The issue is that probably a Nubarak comes in somewhere here, or potentially at least, and your web rep's doing okay, or Cocoon, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, you either Cocoon Cho'Gall or Ariel, and then you heavily engage upon the rest. But the coordination is difficult. Yeah, okay, but it's Fnatic, so...
I just want the crazy. That's why as soon as I saw the second ban taking a while, I just wanted Cho'Gall on the side of Team Expert. I just want the crazy.
Okay, so they flex their final assassin, which is smart. Just in case it is Cho'Gall, they can grab Tychus in that final spot if they so choose. So Nubarak Dahaka comes out. Another Wooby Dahaka. And they all rejoiced.
Medivh is up and available. If Team Expert wanted to adjust it, it would be difficult with triple support.
Yeah.
Stitches would not do that well with the current backline yet for Expert, just in case they want to go Stitches.
I feel like we get a warrior, and then I'll still keep bringing up Thrall. I still think that having Athero on that is a...
Thrall's too hard into Fnatic. There's a stun on every single hero they have if you count Rain of Vengeance, and Thrall cannot be effective here, I think.
Maybe Arthas Sonya. You have a defensive tank, it'd be a bit on the safer side. You'd be able to handle pressure that comes your way. You put a Thorough on Sonya, and you can keep her alive with heals, and of course Wrath at 10.
Do like that. Double front line.
Oh, there it is.
Claris the God. Hashtag it up. It's like the fifth time this weekend, man.
Yeah, if you say Thrall every game, though, is it true enough?
It is true enough. You'll always pull it out. Delete all the VODs and only get that one moment in there.
I had one miss, and he went Malthael, and I really wanted to say Thrall or Malthael in that game.
All right, I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Thrall with a 55.6% win rate across 9 games. Good KDA as well. going to be coming in here. Now, like I said, there's a lot of stunts on the side of Fnatic, so that means that Thrall will have to play a safer brand of play, poking from afar with Chain Lightning over and over without truly ever going in, unless the situation is absolutely right.
It's kind of how Athro likes to play it, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's...
Oh! I was just wondering, Lunara into Uther alone, if Fnatic wanted to get another backliner, Uther would struggle with that. He does versus all of the poison damage, and then you've got Thrall to follow up with the kills, but now we've got Tyrande, gives a little bit more healing.
I'm enjoying a win percent.
Yeah.
Very nice there.
First Tyrande of the tournament.
Fnatic hasn't touched her yet. You know, this is pretty cool. Another hero with a stun. We have a massive stun chain on the side of Fnatic.
You know what, though, as well, is that this is probably Schwimpy on the Tyrande, right? And
it is.
Actually, way back when, that was what he was known for. Yeah. Admittedly, it's a very different Tyrande now, but the same premise is still there.
I'm excited. I'm worried for Thrall. There is
So
a cleanse available for Expert, just one, and you need to deal with 9 stuns, just about.
Predictions, Grubby, starting with you.
I don't like Thrall into this comp, even though your prediction was very impressive. I'm gonna go with Fnatic.
Killy?
Fnatic.
And Tim.
I'm gonna go with Expert.
Wee.
Let's do it up here, man.
And you can tell that he really believes in it. He's not just saying it to make it more exciting. He really believes in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a save button with the Aegis that can be available here, and if you're able to interrupt the stun combo that will be coming out, maybe with a Sunder, there's always the hope, and sometimes he's got to bank on hope.
All right, thank you very much, guys, as we now go into what is game number 3 here in this best-of-7 grand finals, as Fnatic looks to take an even further lead here against Team Expert.
Well, and if Expert takes it, we're going to call Trixler from now on the Prophet. Tyrande has made the way into the game, and it's going to be an exciting one.
Tyrande is a hero we haven't seen too much in HGC, but I'm not surprised to see her show up on a map like Battlefield of Eternity. That is where she was originally shown up to be the meta for a long while until she became, you know, the monster that she was for a short period of time. But to see her resurge, it's no surprise it's on BOE.
Well, game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with a 2-0 lead already for Fnatic. To the left side, we have the Swedes with Schwimpy on Tyrande, Wobby on the Haka, Breeze on Anubera, Quacknix on Vala, and Smexy on Uther.
Expert down 2 games here in the red. It is Nick on Lunara, Bad Benny on the Muradin, ADRD on Ariel. Thrall's going to be played by a Thero Angel. And always it's Curse in there on his wicked, sick Brightwing.
Yeah, and for Fnatic, Tyrande, I've seen her in scrims on this map played by them, and she's not really the most meta pick right now, but they are so scary with her. The combos that you can get off if you just get those stuns locked in are absolutely fantastic. She has been great on this map for a long time until she disappeared out of the meta, but already Fnatic, with so much pressure. I have 5 men to the top, they can always send the Haka down. They are starting to go straight for the structure and the experience lead.
And they have such big kill potential as early as level 1 displayed here with that CC chain, and Fnatic draws first blood on Expert.
There's the stun chain that we've been talking about. You have the Muradin stun, you have the Anubarak, the Dehaka, and of course Tyrande herself. And they are moving in. Fnatic, they send 1 hero bot lane for the experience, but they have broken through the entire wall up top already.
This is going to be very difficult for Expert to be able to deal with, knowing that Ariel does not have the opportunity to take that cleanse. Brightwing will be the only one to be able to stop that CC engage. And for any of you who had endured the original Tyrande meta, you very much know if you do not have tools to deal with the Lunar Flare and the CC combos on short durations, like the Impale into Lunar Flare, the Drag into Lunar Flare, you have 1 chance to deny it, and then you better win the fight 5 seconds after, or you're going to have a bad time.
And at this point, we're not even talking about the Immortal race. We're not even talking about her just enabling the team to rush down those HP points. So this is for Expert once again an extremely rough situation to be in. Tyrande here on level 1 with a Lunar Blaze going for the quest talent. Fnatic rotating now down to the bot lane, trying to break through the structures once again. But it's Expert actually that takes a small lead in experience here and was able to catch up.
So I'm really curious, what is Fnatic opting to do with the Tyrande? Because there's two routes, right? Originally it was like Hunter's Mark, the race potential so very good, they opt in towards that exactly. But there is a huge counter argument to she's also astounding defensively, again, because your kill potential is so very effective, so very quick. You just go, we're going to wait around, throw out a combo, wham bam, Thrall's dead.
I mean, especially later on when Vala comes online with her quest talent on level 4 and really stacks that extra damage, that pressure potential with Tyrande on the Immortal is absolutely fantastic. There's so much synergy if you just want to go and commit to the race. And that's currently what Fnatic is doing. They are known to be aggressive and punish opponents. And if they get a chance, they will end this early.
I'm looking forward to what happens here now that Fnatic has found themselves the very first Immortal there, 25% shielding roughly. So it's not absolutely astounding, it's not overly terrifying, it's all going to be about the lethality. Looking out and defending against the Tyrande, it feels near impossible. You're worried about the Immortal stun, you're worried about the impales. Again, it's just every click has to be exact for Expert if they're going to survive.
And talking to Tyrande, on level 4 now we have the Celestial Attunement, so you can remove stuns and therefore reset the cooldown as well. It's a fantastic tool, especially against that Murden that will look for Stormbolts here at the front line. Fnatic now pushing at the bot lane as the solo laners are up top with the Dehaka going up against Thrall, but down here Fnatic is already looking for kills once again.
Great job with ADRD for that Detainment Strike, but Bad Benny receives the Lunar Flare and that Hunter's Mark. He is able to get the Dwarf Toss out and managed to survive, but Fnatic did put a big dent there onto that bottom 4.
Yeah, they definitely did, and Bad Benny barely survived. It shows once again how fast Fnatic is with these decisions. Someone starts to move forward, tries to stop the onslaught, and immediately everybody pummels down him.
And like, I want to say, well, Murden is one of the best into Tyrande compositions, or at least he was. We failed to forget the reason he was is because he did have the Invuln frame on Dwarf Toss, so it made it to where he could eat the damage and then dodge Lunar Flare if they messed up once. He's a dead Murden if that happens here in this game. It is not the same matchup it once was.
But he can take a punch.
He can,
and
better than most.
That's exactly what his job is in this game. Take the punch and don't die. Also, a couple of Storm Bolts wouldn't hurt, so they're starting to go in. But Benny and ADRD trying to commit for a kill against the Nubarak. They don't get that just yet, but they are fighting back. And with everything that happened so far, Expert still looking strong in experience. So far, there have been a lot of threat against them, a lot of heroes that were threatened, but all of them survived, and Expert is holding on to this game.
And honestly, the fact that Expert is holding on levels 1 through 9, that's huge, because that is the strength of Tyrande. I mean, it's not that she is useless post the 10 mark, but your ability to, again, if they do fail that actual blow up onto a single target, suddenly the Murden can use his heroic, and you can actually look to turn around onto those fights, and you just cannot do that levels 1 through 9. She honestly changes how all of Heroes of the Storm is played when she is present.
And in the days of old, when Tyrande was comboed with the Murden for stun locks, for kills early on, the sniper composition, roaming the lanes, the one thing you always had to do, you needed these early game kills. You needed them to get that lead. And right now, Fnatic is not able to make them happen just yet. But now, also, we're having the archery talent taken for Tyrande on level 7, just rounding up that build after the Celestial Attunement that we have here. So you get the extra bonus damage, and we have another Immortal on the map, and now we're talking about that race potential again that Fnatic has.
Yeah, we're going to see what Experts decides to do when it comes to this Immortal. For now, the posturing seems rather defensive. Both of the both of the globals off into the side, getting their soak on out. That is definitely a more positive trade for Fnatic with Wubby there on the Dehaka, just because Brightwing, she holds the lane, she doesn't push the lane like Wubby. So in the long run, somebody has to respond, which is why we see Athero go in the matchup, and now I expect Fnatic to get real aggressive.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They move in, they see, of course, the hero down bot and top, so they can start to make their move, and they are starting to go straight for the Immortal once more. Currently, 20 extra damage on Vala's level 4 ability, starting to stack that, but of course, we're not near to quest completion at all. But it's still enough to chunk down that Immortal, and Expert in the end will have to force a fight at some point.
Yeah, really big Q coming out there from Nick, but it just wasn't enough to be able to enable the team to start off that fight. But the members of Expert have gotten offensive. They are getting aggressive to be able to move up to the Immortal. It's just going to be the poke install game. That's something that Lunara is rather good at, even without the Nature's Culling, just the increased range. Post 10, I expect her to possibly get even better at whittling away at that. But Expert's goal is to get to 10 without this game being too lopsided, and right now they're doing a very good job of that. Bad Benny getting the stun combo out. Looks like he might be able to make it this time. He does survive once more.
Yeah, once again, he's able to move away here, and of course, thanks to his trait, he will survive a bit longer. He's specced into block on level 1, actually, trying to just make sure that those auto attacks don't bring him down too fast. They have the support power with Brightwing and Oriel to heal him up fast enough, but again, Fnatic just poking away. And Expert is losing the race for the Immortal. The standoff here. Can Athero maybe initiate a battle with a good lockdown against that front line? But just the positioning alone of Fnatic is so fantastic, with Breeze always shielding the rest of his team.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job with the kind of just the dance that we know and expect now on Battlefield of Eternity, that these teams so very close. But my biggest fear here is just the response that the members of Expert, they're not putting too much focus on their ability to get that side soak, which again, the race to 10 seemed to be the biggest focus. But the halftime show kicked off, pressure going on to Wubby, but only forcing a passive to be popped.
The Aka kind of low here as the Stormbolt hits, and also Thrall connects with a lockdown. But at the same time, we have the halftime show in favor of Fnatic. 9 versus 9 in experience still. Expert is doing this really well, and they are going to the top. They want XP, they want the early level 10.
That's exactly what I wanted to see from them. Just as long as Fnatic is not on to the actual Immortal right now while they're getting experience, that is a positive trait for them. So they can get to those 10s at the same level. Suddenly now we're going to, I expect to see Expert get a lot more aggressive once that combo fails to kill Bad Benny or any other target for that matter.
Now on the level 10s, they have to make something happen here. They definitely do. On level 10, of course, for Tyrande, we have Shadowstalk, as expected, being taken up now. But we also have Earthquake for Thrall. No Sundering here, not going to try and commit to that one shot. Instead, it is the Earthquake, and we see them moving in. Here comes the Earthquake already as Thrall goes in. Cocoon has been used, though. Breeze is rather low, but Bad Benny cannot deliver the final blow.
Wubby getting that Stormbolt. He actually gets the Divine Shield and burrows at the same time. Miscommunication being displayed here for Fnatic, but they are still confidently winning this race. Expert is looking to change that, though. Now with that small victory, Fnatic backing, tapping, and this is now allowing Expert to take free damage onto the Immortal.
Expert with a really good reaction here. As you said, Fnatic had to move back. They needed to get the hit points and the mana, and that was a small window that Expert used to put some pressure onto the Immortal, and they immediately moved back as they realized that Fnatic would join the fight once again. In the meantime, by the way, Thrall just chunking away the entire time on the max hit points, especially with his level 7. But here, once again, Bad Benny in a bit of trouble. Gets the Aegis. Fnatic still looks for their kill. Here comes the stun combo, and down goes the Dwarf. Bad Benny is down.
The Emerald Wind coming out, but it's a bit too late. AD already tried to get the kill there. Beautiful cleanse from Curson allows him to be able to survive. And now with Thero, they're trying to get the slow. Pharaoh Spirit coming out, not even going to be able to. Cocoon to deter any further advancement of Expert. And so a 1-4-0 trade going for Fnatic. But this is allowing Expert, because a soft victory there, to get some damage out. Quacknick's on the race. In the meantime, though, with that Tyrande, they very easily took it.
Yeah, way too much here. Brightwing also taken down here with the attempt to defend the Immortal. Expert oversteps a bit, and now Wubby burrowing into the back with Breeze moving in too. It's the second kill. Thrall is picked off here. 4 kills against 0, and Fnatic is looking strong and now moves to the top lane with the Immortal.
This is scary. This Immortal being a bit later into the scaling, but just what we already saw what was possible here with Fnatic with the very first, it is very likely that they are going to be able to pressure this key front wall, if not a bit more. It is so hard to defend against this composition. The positive side, though, here for Expert is unlike the last initiation that Fnatic attempted. They did not have all of their heroics. Ideally, when they do get the counter initiation and they use heroics, they can't just go, well, we traded even. Because again, the shorter cooldown here onto the other side, but the battle is on.
The battle is on, and Breeze might be the target here. Nubarak is low, but Benny has to be careful, though, receiving a lot of damage. And again, a Divine Shield being used quite early here for Breeze. Expert wasn't following up on it. But now, with those moves that we see on the side of the red team, they're actually able to defend quite easily here. And it's always scary when you see Fnatic moving in with an objective. They are the team that will get a kill and punish you hard, maybe even take the keep. But Expert, with a great defense thus far, is able to shut it down. They still are level behind, and they lack the 13 that Fnatic is now grabbing.
Yeah, the biggest thing I want to commend, though, is Fnatic understanding that that was, once the combo is not succeeding at that point in time, that it was not their trade to be able to advance any farther. They're still not doing the one thing that you and I have kind of talked about might be the biggest thing to set them back, is themselves. You're getting overconfident, and they're still showing heavy restraint here, even against a team like Expert.
What really helped them, I feel, is what we heard talked about earlier. When they lost in the regular season against the Playing Ducks, a team with they were not, Curson. No, dude, it's not gonna work. There's the stun. Shrimpy hits the bullseye, and Brightwing is taken down. No chance of survival there, and they are not even done yet. They are trying to go up to the top. Isolation being hit on Bad Benny. The rest of the team rotates in, trying to cut them off. They have the 13 talents, a 5 versus 4. Cocoon comes out. Fnatic wants kills.
Yeah, the Cocoon is there. Shadowstalk is online too if they feel like they need it. Rain of Vengeance going to be followed up. Not even necessary. Aethero is dead. To no surprise, that is just what Toronto composition do, and Cocoon is such a great setup. It's actually kind of funny. This is a little bit of what we saw, I believe, out of Latin America at the midseason brawl. They used the Cocoon into Colossus Smash one-shot. It's just Toronto edition. It's really neat to see this out from Fnatic.
We've seen a lot of these combos. Cocoon into Malfurion roots in the past. Very similar here. With good timings, you have so much kill potential here. And now in level 13, the Harsh Moonlight taken by Toronto, getting the additional slows now as well. And the damage reduction. So Shrimpy going full utility here with a lot of these talents. But coming back to the original point, we've been talking a lot about how strong and how dominant Fnatic is. And that makes them their biggest enemy, since if they at some point get too confident, overconfident, cocky even, then they could lose these games just because they don't respect their opponents. And losing to the Playing Ducks in the regular season really helped them to understand that they cannot underestimate anyone.
Expert just ended up using the Brightwing teleport, which means Peekaboo has already been revealed. It's going to be a long while till that's back online. Expect a Shadowstalk coming out from Shwimpy, some sneaky snake play coming out from the Toronto, because that is why, you know, with her rework, the general playstyle that we have seen.
Yeah. What I also want to highlight is that the 13 talent is ready for Expert, just as the Immortal is on the map. So they have at least that going for themselves. They can fight on even talents again, but so far, Dread, they haven't even picked up a single kill in this game.
Expert. They get aggressive for a minute onto the Immortal, seeing Wubby display himself towards that top lane, but it's not enough for them to feel like they can fully take the fight. Luckily, that camp on bottom will do a bit of work. It's just sadly not the equivalent of a Shaman camp. You know, Khazars and Shaman are very different on this map, and so it will whittle away over time. It's just all about Fnatic looking for the play. They go in. Aethero would manage to survive for now. Quacknix receiving a bit of pressure. The Cocoon drops.
Cocoon drops, and there's still the isolation on Aethero. Finally over. They blow the Cocoon apart, and Thrall survived all of this. He dodged part of the combo that Fnatic was trying to push onto him. Once again, they're going in though. Aegis in the last second, saving Aethero, but not for long. Down goes Thrall. Green Jesus is dead, and Bad Benny at the same time is struggling in the backline. He's the next one. The stun hits, and it hits hard. Breeze moves out as he's about to fall, but look at the rest of Fnatic just cleaning house and taking down Oriel.
Wubby was just the biggest thorn in ADRD's side. He hits one drag, forcing the heal to not actually be able to hit Ariel and Bad Benny at the same time, forcing Bad Benny to go down. Then he ends up getting the auto attack reset there with his level 7 talent. Immediately a secondary drag comes back up, and the entire time ADRD has a whole bar of hope, just not the ability to control his hero to distribute it onto the team, and why Fnatic is looking so dominant. 8-0 in terms of kills here on BOE.
Beautiful CC chains, great engagements here, and awesome flanks as well. At this point, Fnatic once again trying to go for the objective here. A lot of them moving back to base, healing up, getting mana, moving back into the fight, and their biggest asset is really that level 16 that is soon going to drop into their hands.
30-second spawn, where the Avatar comes online, and 16 hasn't been achieved for Fnatic. I'd like to see Expert try and take in this fight, because if they fail to do so, I expected Toronto composition to come out, the rest of the Immortal shielding not to be able to work, and now it's late enough with Fnatic's advantage that they've been able to obtain structurally on top of it. That could be game. We're getting to the point where Expert can't mess around with Immortal outcomes anymore.
Especially not against the stun chains that we're seeing from Fnatic. If you sit tight and wait for that Immortal to move towards you, Breeze engages with a Cocoon and they get a kill, that could immediately be the core that is being attacked next.
This is the window. If they're going to make it happen, right now is the exact second they need to. Kirsten is yet to join in. The Stormbolt connects, and now we find Brightwing with us.
Brightwing, the stun. All right, Immortal stun so far dodged. They're trying to go for the Immortal here. Fnatic moves in from the side. Once again, they're trying to find a target. Wubby with a race car, trying to get that drag, but Bad Benny jumps out in time. Cooldowns now for Fnatic are off, so they have a bit of a window where they can make the play, but 16 is so close.
Trickle in XP is actually being a huge factor here into this fight. It is about 15 seconds left before Expert loses that window, and it looks like they are not confident to move up. Drag missed there by Wubby. Polymorph response, but nothing to be gained, nothing lost. The Lunar Flare lands Beautiful cleanse from Curson, but Nick's under pressure.
Nick is under a lot of pressure as Breeze moves in. Bad Benny jumps in as well. Here comes Brightwing with the ult. Also Earthquake used right away. Ethereal, they blow the cocoon up. Here come the stuns, but just look at Bad Benny. He's low on mana, he's low on health, he's low on everything.
Wubby got the Divine Shield. He managed to survive for now, but the members of Expert are more healthy than that of Fnatic. Double support Tyrande, not equivalent to that of Ariel. Brightwing, no surprise there. So what is the result here when it comes to the Immortals? Defensive posturing now still here for Expert. The members of Fnatic are going back to tap, and this is where they're going to abuse that window. It was a miracle that Expert was able to hold on to that.
It is that 16, but if they get the Immortal now, they buy time for themselves. They need the Immortal though. Here comes the attack. Fnatic goes in. They have the advantage. They have the talent. They have the levels. They're going for Bad Benny. He jumps out barely. The Immortal is so low, but they can't deliver the final few points of damage that they need to claim it.
About 1,000 HP remaining. Their raw Lunar Flare landing. Rain of Vengeance just at the very tip. Nick actually gets out of there. Like, that was like, honestly, depending on what part of his gallop he was on, I'm pretty sure he'd have been hit. That was so close.
1.5 levels until Expert hits the next talent level. Fnatic is starting to push them back. Mark of Mending on the side of Shrimpy's Tyrande that we have here on 16. The epicenter for Nuburak. He wants these fights. He wants to go, and he wants to go deep. And of course, Uther is always going to be there with the Benediction, trying to deliver the double stun. And here it is, the combo. Nice negated by Auriel using the ult here, going for the Aegis, but Cocoon is already out. Ethereal trying to get the Immortal, and he indeed does. Now all they have to do is to move back and don't die.
That pre-cleanse from Curson and the Emerald Wood to keep him alive. The isolation was used there to try and make sure they were able to pick up that Lunara. Time after time, Curson is tested on his response time, and he is really following up.
That was such a good escape there. That play was so good. The flank from Thrall, trying to make sure that they get the Immortal. They bought themselves time in this game, and maybe even a keep at the bot lane. Just look how much damage this Immortal alone already does. The scaling helps so much on this map. And even though they are half a level behind, this really helps them to close the gap.
And the experience hitting to the 16 mark is all that Expert could be hoping for. Now they're at the later stages of the game where suddenly Tyrande is not nearly as intimidating. Yes, she is so powerful, but the probability of you getting that stun lock like the 1 through 9 is significantly less. So now, will Expert suddenly turn these fights?
Wubby actually engaged already, so there's no flank possible anymore. He already moved in from the top lane. This is a chance for Expert. They have the level 16 and they're starting to move in with it. We already have Auriel with the attack speed increase for Lunara. That's going to help so much. They're going for the keep threat, and they are very likely to get the first keep in the game now. The combo hits Bad Benny, but he moves out and the Immortal finishes the keep.
Now the members of Fnatic get the drag onto Lunara. Aegis is not going to be used, and so that is now Nick is dead. Will Fnatic be able to aggress? The Earthquake is too much to slow them down, but Fnatic survives after losing that keep.
Yeah, that was actually a bit of that was scary for a second here, but the keep alone is already such a big win. Them losing Lunara, that was of course a bit of a setback. If they can get a kill here, then they can maybe even go farther and ride that momentum to victory on the second map. But right now, Fnatic has the lead in experience still, but we are still 2 levels away from level 20.
Normally, I would say in a Tyrande composition, if you manage to get that first keep the way Expert has, that you can suddenly posture around and abuse the lack of wave clear that these compositions traditionally have, but the fact that there's a Dahaka. That is the saving grace here for Fnatic, that even though they are without that keep on bottom, they should be able to utilize Wubby effectively enough, and I mean, it's Fnatic. They know how to use these globals. So it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still great here for Expert and their chances in the game.
And while we have a bit of a break here, let's talk about Thrall and his build real quickly, because as you can see right now, first of all, on level 1, committed to the Echo of Elements, so highly stacking into the Chain Lightning here. On level 4 then, just following that up, we're currently seeing him with a Frostwolf pack. So really committing at this point to his quest talents. Mana Tide, my bad. And very important, the Ancestral Wrath on level 7, that you can really spam out against the tanks in particular to push a massive amount of damage onto them. And this is exactly what Thrall has been doing in this game. He's currently the 3rd highest when it comes to the hero damage, only surpassed by Lunara and by Vala on the side of Fnatic. So Thrall having a huge impact at that front line, also with the utility that he offers with Earthquake on level 13. Frostwolf's Grace for him. And we are actually seeing at this point Curson again in trouble, but with a nice reaction as Fnatic is trying to snipe him. Yeah, he uses his ult and survives.
Huge job, man, not getting got out there. It's because the Immortal spawning, that would have 100% been Fnatic claiming this next Immortal for themselves. So Curson, with once again his ability to react appropriately to the members of Fnatic, they still stand a chance on this Immortal. And this goes over to Expert, reasonably healthy. this could be enough for them to be able to claim the second game.
And especially, to be honest with you, with the level 16 on Thrall, with the Alpha Wolf, they can really start hurting these tanks. And that is a big plus for them now that they are again on even talents. Top lane is being pressured by Expert's camp that was well timed and forces Dehaka to move up top. And they already have a significant amount of damage on Fnatic's Immortal. So Fnatic is really just trying to dance around now. And you've been talking about Tyrande earlier. She is starting to struggle a bit more. Fnatic ideally would get a one-shot here with a good stun combo. But so far the supports on the side of Expert have played an exceptional game and denied it every single step of the way.
Pharaoh there maybe out a bit too far for a second. Brush Talk's going to come online, but with that Thornwood Vine thrown out, it actually managed to clip Smex and Wubby, so they were unable to further their advancement any longer. The 20 is closing in, though, for Fnatic, and that's something that has got to be weighing on Team Expert's shoulders. Breeze eats a bit of damage, but it is just so tense as these teams dance. One wrong step, and they could go down. Curson, once again, another cleanse.
Keep in mind that Expert has not a single kill just yet. Once again, they're getting stunned here by Shrimpy as he drops the flares. But we have in this situation still the Expert holding on to the game. Here comes the Earthquake as Fnatic is starting to engage, already using the isolation against AD. Ultimate cooldowns are being traded. Breeze jumps in. They want the lockdown against the Thero, but they don't get it. Bad Benny in the backline with stuns on his own. They need to save him somehow, but the drag connects and immediately Oriel goes in with another Aegis, keeping him alive.
Yeah, and the Immortal's taking a bit of damage. The Lunar Flare coming out, though. Breeze setting it up, and Bad Benny Tortoise on now. He lived. Now look at Nick. That Splinter Spear damage. Fnatic is now second-guessing if they have the opportunity to make this happen. Nick walks up. He's going to say thank you and kick off the halftime show, and now Expert takes a freaking huge lead on this Immortal.
You don't simply kill a dwarf. Bad Benny jumps out and is once again invincible here. And it's just insane. Just look at these stats. 9 kills against 0. Fnatic the lead in experience, but Expert is really starting to pressure them. The problem for Expert is the 20 talent, but it looks like they are trying to get the Immortal before that's even becoming an issue.
They're doing their best to make that happen. In a couple of minutes, they will have those catapults on bottom being a problem for Fnatic. The stun comes out. Bad Benny received the Rain of Vengeance. Interruption on the Dwarf Toss. The cleanse comes out, so that is Curson again saving. Cocoon is used a thorough reset Angel, and he goes down. The pressure is there. Fnatic is now in the lead.
And once again, Wubby going in. They get the kill. Oriel is dead, and so is Muradin. Fnatic, when it matters, they show up. They go in again. They have the 20. They drop Lunara. They look for Curson. They can't kill him just yet, but they are on the move to the bot lane and to the keep.
With no sidewall down already, it is not as fast of a victory here. Maybe a bit more questionable on whether or not Fnatic has the opportunity to move into the core, but 20 has been achieved. Smexy is wearing the damage onto that because if he has the ability to come back with that redemption thanks to his level 20 advantage that we have been talking about. Keep is down. Fnatic now moving to the core.
They're going for it. They're going for it, and they have the time. They have that what they need. 10 more seconds until Thrall is back. Smexy tanking the damage. He doesn't care. Fnatic once again turning this around. 13 kills against 1 at this point. Only Uther falling. He has redemption. Team Expert doesn't have anything left anymore. This is game. A last final Earthquake by Thrall does not change anything. GG as Fnatic takes the 3-0 lead in this grand final at the Western Clash.
Very impressive synergy displayed every time there, especially from Shwimpy on that Tyrande. Man, had a lot of multi-man Lunar Flares, which that in itself is impressive, but the thing for me was raw Lunar Flares, the ones without any setup whatsoever. He was very much on point and keeping his team ahead. You know, I normally am very critical of Tyrande. It's pretty, a lot of people know that in general. But they really put up a solid argument for it on Battlefield.
And in the last fight, the stuns were really what mattered there. It actually was fantastic how they were able to keep, first of all, Muradin alive, but then Thrall is just in a spot where he's a little bit too far out. Ethereal, you can see him here. He falls, and once he dies, it's a snowball. Fnatic moves in. They already have spammed the Cocoon out. We're forcing the fight. It was a close call, though. If that Immortal is ending up in the hands of Team Expert, there is a valid chance that they can at least stall to 20, maybe even get a kill with the Immortal going towards the keep. Expert is fighting back, but it's still Fnatic that you have to beat.
Yeah, it feels like it's just, the question is it too little, too late? I don't know. We're going to have to find out, but we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have the rest of the series to find out if Fnatic will be your Western Clash champions.
Introducing HGC Cheer. To bring